Welcome everybody to the first day of Winners League. We are ready to go, and we're pretty much ready to go. Yeah, the action is going to start. It's going to be LiviD versus Big Frames coming up right now. And
I'm pretty excited for this matchup. It's Big Frames. They had a bit of a struggle in advance. They made it to playoffs. They wound up actually going, I think they made it to the second round and then got knocked out. LiviD, a team that didn't have as successful a season, but now they're hoping to right that wrong here in the Winners League. Very excited to see this matchup. Also, I just have to say, that was the first time I actually watched the intro video in full.
It's nice.
And goosebumps, man.
Yeah, it was really well done. I was really impressed by that. But yeah, Team LiviD again, and Big Frames, they finished like within 5 to 8 plays in advance. So it's going to be a pretty close match. Definitely a 50-50 between these two teams. And I believe the map is Nuke. So as soon as we're ready right here, we'll be jumping into the game and the action should begin.
We got knife round going on right now, and of course on Nuke, that can be pretty how teams like to play it. One of the players I want to highlight, just a player that I always want to highlight when he's in the server. He's a man who just came out of retirement pretty recently. It's Connors. This guy was one of the most exciting prospects in North America, in the sort of North American amateur to semi-pro scene for a while. He took a break from the game, the motivation waned, but now he's back and he's trying to get back to that form. So I'm excited to see him on that journey.
Yeah, just give me 1 second so I can just resolve. I think we're having some technical difficulties on our end right here. Let me just fix it.
Well, while he fixes it, I'll talk about the remainder of these players. Nerfed, of course, presence this Big Frames roster, right? They were up in the Mountain Dew League for a while. They wound up getting knocked back down. Nerfed left for a time to another team, then came back to the roster. So it's a team that's been together for a little while in one shape or form, the core four. Connor's obviously a new addition. On the other side, LiviD in some shape or another has been around for a little bit. And Nerfed, a knife to the back to start off the pistol round. I think we are into the pistol. I don't know if it's up on screen for you folks yet, but we're getting that brought up right away. So a little bit of a handicap, a little bit of an impediment to start things off. But it's going to be outer control for the T's, and they're going to make their way down secret immediately. No contest from the CTs. LiviD not really trying to take any of these long angles. So they're already down towards the lower site, and there's really nobody to threaten. It's going to be a full retake scenario, and that bomb will almost certainly be planted. They'll clear all the way around, and there's nobody left to meet them. So the bomb now prepared to go down, and LiviD just now getting ready to get into position for this retake. There's a player up in heaven who's now going to be catching them from behind, so they've got to move quickly down the ramp. Otherwise, they're going to find themselves completely sandwiched. But, well, she will eventually be found out by Millie. Straight to their death, but this is all a ploy by Big Frames. They never wanted to plant lower whatsoever. They're planting upper instead. And now shots raining out. The bomb will finally go down, I think, although it's insecure. And there's still a lot of work to do for these remaining players. They outthought themselves on the Big Frame side.
Yeah, I just got back, so I just barely got the end of that right now. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting start so far. LiviD looking pretty good on the retake for the A site. Oceanic now, unfortunately, not picking up the round, and that is going to cost them. Let's see how this plays out.
That was really odd. Oceanic had full control of lower, and they wanted to work a tricky play back up vent, and it just didn't work at all. There's a player who just stood up above the vent and popped them as they came out and just destroyed that play before it could even. So now minimal investment, just a little bit of deg action, a single flash to try and take a fight. And Dev already knocked down low. He's a player who can be deadly with that hand cannon in his paws, but if he's got no health to work with and no armor behind it, it's going to be a tough task indeed. Looks like they're grouping up in lobby to make a hit on towards the A bomb site, but there's a lot of reinforcements here for the CTs, and they should have an easy time of this. The auto shotty on top of Hut, sort of a classic that I always associate with the player who I think was on a previous iteration of this LiviD roster. Oh, he's actually on the roster right now. When?
Yeah, wait, I was going to say, you don't see Hwin in the server. He's definitely a big name, and he definitely brings the most experience for that roster, but it's going to be a push coming out here towards the ramp side with Hwin as a support player from the J Hall, able to find kills with the help of Mikhail, of course. And it does look like it's going to be held down right here. Nerf now the last player surviving for Oceanic, trying to do what he can, maybe some economic damage, but I don't even think he gets that. Ooh, close. Not quite. There it is, though. Easy round for LiviD, as it was just a full eco for the Oceanic squad. But here it is, Mike. The buy.
There it is. Rifles out. They're going to keep the auto shotty up. 2 SMGs as well, so a little bit hampered. We'll see if the superior utility usage is going to be enough to keep them alive and keep them afloat on sites as they take a bit of that bonus round mentality. It's going to be early presence towards outer. There's just somebody going probing to see if he can find a little bit of action. Some counter nades in, going to do a little bit of dust up damage, but they barely connect. And there's a lot of presence outer for the T's, or for the CTs rather. And Cred right around the red box has a flash for it. He's going to find the face, but Church wins out the duel instead. So that's a body dropped outer and ground gained for the T's. You'll see that immediately as a response to that, they get a little bit more passive. Quinn falls all the way back to watch the long angle with the AUG. Now the T's can play. They're going to start to inch their way forward, slowly taking control. They don't have a ton of utility, so once these initial smokes fade, they may not want to actually test the outer yard. So despite the ground gain there from the pick, they're going to go ahead and fall away.
Yeah, I mean, not only was this a man advantage for Oceanic, right? They got one of the only rifles out of LiviD's hands. So that's outside control gain, plus one of the strong firepower for LiviD is now gone. But Oceanic, knowing a little bit better, they're just going to go ahead, regroup towards the lobby area, where it appears that they are grouping up for either an A split or a hit towards ramp. I think they are aware that the fact that they have umps and an XM left, so I don't think they hit this A site. I think they just go for the ramp play. And that's exactly what they're doing.
It's perfectly timed as well. They've got the flank outer who can still make some damage for Dev, and especially if they work their way down ramp. But the question is going to be, does Millie get the better? And he does indeed. That's an AK potentially retrievable. A lot of damage done on that player, but that triggers Quinn to swing around, and he'll be traded 1-for-1. Advantage still towards the T's, especially as they assert themselves in front of ramp. They're actually going back. That's so unnecessary, right into the SMG spray. Once again, Oceanic, or Big Frames rather, outthink themselves here on Nuke. This is the second time so far in the brief time on the server, and that leaves it all to Dev with no time to work with. He's just going to have to let the clock run out and say, what on earth happened, guys?
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you don't leave that solo player holding on the lobby, right? You got to have that information. I mean, you're going to push ramp. You have to kind of expect LiviD to push on a different part of the map, right? A bit of a yin-yang happening, but it seems like LiviD, they made the right call at the right time, and like you said, Big Frames, they kind of just outthought themselves.
I don't know what's going on with these calls. The communication has to be weird. I mean, Dev had worked his way in from outer, right? But he's got no information about what's going on in lobby. And so they try and crunch back in a lobby, but they just feed themselves right into the SMGs. It's such a strange situation. When you have control of that ramp, you've got to assert a move off the back of it. Now it's going to be the force buy. They'll invest in around that one-stage rifle of Dev. Of course, having gotten no loss bonus, he is going to be broke city. The question is, with the Deagles, with the CZs, with the Tech-9, can they get any sort of inroad? Op out for Incred, so now the buy is stronger for LiviD, and they've got the utility advantage once more. And the dust-up damage early on is not going the way of the Big Frames. They're looking decidedly small in this round. That's a great nade, though, into Secret. Gonna make Incred think twice about peeking out with the AWP.
Yes, I think he's starting to sense the danger. I mean, one, they know the economy is low, so they must have an idea that Oceanic is on safe. Plus, they heard the Deagle spam, so I think they definitely know that it's most likely just a pistol buy here for the Oceanic side. But Incred, if he can't give away that op, if he gets overwhelmed in Secret, that kind of changes up the formula and gives Oceanic something to work with versus nothing. But here it is, the push now, the split towards the A site. Melio shutting it down from the heavens, from the rafters. That's 2 kills for him, and well, she gets gushed down to 16 HP, making him rethink the aggression. But it is a 2-man advantage, and look at their health, Mike. It's going to be a tough round here for Oceanic side.
This is ridiculous. He's got 1 health. He's going to need to hit 1 bullet. T-Connor's tucked in by the vent with a crossfire setup. Nerf at least distracts the focus. It's going to be Melio to clean up the first and nearly find the second kill as well. Now they've got 32 HP to rub together between them. That's the bomb drop. That should be the round just about over. Welsh has an impossible task and only 15 seconds with which to do it. Maybe McHale feeds 1 kill, but it's not even going to be necessary. He won't take the angle. Now Welsh's position is known. He's about to get clothesline trying to escape. At least he dies before timer. But still, this is a rough start for the Big Frames. They've run out of protein powder.
Yeah.
They need a pre-workout going. It's like they're asleep in the server.
Yeah, I mean, you say it's rough for Big Frames, but I say this is an amazing, perfectly played CS by LiviD so far. I mean, they're playing this well. They're playing this with discipline. They're playing this with aggression. They're playing this with confidence, and it's working out for them in every step of the way. Here we go. Early utility coming out towards the A site as per usual. You know, trying to control the pace here for the Big Frame side early on. But it seems like Oceanic is setting up for an execute towards the A side already. Or maybe they're just trying to bait away some of the early utility here for the LiviD side. Let's see if they commit off this. Oh, look at Incred. He's going to catch somebody here off guard easily. Oh, but the lineup, that is so unfortunate.
Oh. That is so unfortunate indeed. Takes his teammate down, and now that's a complete gap in their armor. There's no defense over towards the ramp. There's going to be a player reaggressive towards Hell, and the late smoke gives him opportunity, but also sets up the trade. Lower sight now right for the taking. There's a player in towards T-Con, and he's going to be smoked out in just a moment. T-Connors actually doesn't wait for that smoke to come in, finds the kill instead. Bomb can now be planted and finally around for Big Frames. Melio, 3 to find. Definitely going to go for it considering the economic situation. Wants to make it as difficult as possible, and he will find one, but T. Connors is the Grim Reaper here on site. Retrieves the op to cap it all off with a nice 3K performance, and the Big Frames are finally on the board.
Yeah, keep it 2 players alive. Not as ideal as they would have liked, but hey, that's a round nonetheless. LiviD, they still have a lot of money in the banks, especially Mikhail. I mean, he's sitting at a lot of cash. He's going to go ahead and drop some weapons for the remaining squad, and they're all fully bought up. Millie's the only one that's kind of downgraded, but he's playing towards the A side, so I don't think he's pretty stressed to playing with that auto shotgun. Here we go. Let's see. Once again, Oceanic. They seem to be favoring this outside control, and that is, of course, a big part of Nuke is deny information for the CT side and make it kind of awkward for them to maneuver their way and rotate around the map, but Oceanic not quite moving forward yet on the outside control. Just taking their time, pushing off all the angles, making sure they can advance here safely.
Church is probing around in just trying to find a little bit of room. There'll be the first kill out by the lockers. Quinn goes down, and he's been playing that position pretty frequently, so if he doesn't mix that up, they're just going to start pre-firing it. Could get a little risky. Still presence down towards lower, and 2 players in the ramp room means this is going to be difficult. But with the presence taken towards Hell, they've got a lot of choices for direction. Nerf dropped out, may convince them that the threat's been neutralized, but there's players on high and now towards the A bomb site. And as 2 players are to fall, actually the last one stays alive, Millie, for a moment before getting mopped up. That bomb's going to go down, and I would assume that a save call is close. The money's no longer good. They're going to go for it, it seems. And Mikhail getting 1 kill might embolden them, but it's still a rough situation. They've got kits, they've got utility as well, but they're going to go ahead and call it quits.
Yeah, what they don't have is money, and they need to hold on to as much of that as they can in this round, because this is definitely favoring Oceanic. But here it is, a forfeited round, and they're making an awful lot of noise down here. I wonder if they get hunted. I mean, Oceanic, they don't really have a lot of money either, so I don't think they risk it.
I think we might wind up with one of those gentleman agreements round. It's like, all right, everyone's alive at this point. Let's just keep it that way. Oh, as I say that, though, Church is making a heck of a lot of noise hopping around. Trying to bait out a little bit of response or just keep himself alive from the bomb. He will do so, and it looks like all 5 remaining players will stay up through the end of the round. So now into round number 7. And it's going to be a little bit of a dire situation for LiviD. After a hot start, now they've cooled. Got the 2 AUGs to work with, so if they set up the proper crossfire,
I can see
that
already.
Viable round, but they'll invest pretty much nothing else into it. Keep it very clean and get ready to go in the next.
Yeah, that's a big round for Big Frames. They should be able to follow this one up. I mean, there's only 2 weapons for LiviD, although, you know, the AUGs can make a massive difference. It's still heavily favoring the T side here. Let's see what they do. They have 1 player holding outside, keeping control and getting information. And he's kind of lurked up. He has the flank potential, and he can deny flanks for LiviD. And the remaining players are towards lobby. And I imagine they're just here, possibly expecting some sort of mid-round aggression coming out from the French-Canadian side. So far, it's a pretty good setup. And let's see how... As soon as they start pushing in one direction, though, that's really when the kind of the counter happens from LiviD, or should happen at least. See the timing here. It seems like right now it's pretty passive from both sides. Neither of the teams really wanted to make a mistake or give up a life too soon.
Now utility will go down outer. Gonna secure some passage in towards secret should they choose to take it. There's still gaps to work with, and they're gonna be looking for that frag. Missed shot from Welshie. That was a great opportunity to take one of the AUGs out of their hands. And now that's an opportunity lost. They're going to have to work for more. Still wants to work this pick outer with the AWP, but the player is now down low. The shoulder peek, though, gives him opportunity, and he will line up the shot. So Welshie corrects his mistake and wins out the duel. That's a big one to find. One of the rifles gone. Now it's really just Mikhail, who should largely be thinking about how to bring this through into the next round. That AUG's retrieved, but there's no armor behind it now. At least another kit picked up. Maybe something to work with, but as the players assert control towards the secret steps, they're going to have to get on site quickly. Time has become of the essence, if you will. Now they make their move on. Now this should be planted in a moment. No one's really in position to deny.
Yeah, not only that, but Church is denying the vent rotation down also. So this is pretty much secured by Big Frames, unless Church goes down here and gives up a free weapon. There it is, Millie. He's read that perfectly. But now they have themselves a weapon. But it doesn't look like they're posturing for the retake. I think they're going to be happy with that free AK-47 and the 2 AUGs saved. And they're just going to go ahead and save it up in T-spawn. That's a smart decision by LiviD.
They don't really do much damage to big frames, but it certainly is. Yeah, keep those 3 rifles up. Give yourselves a lot to work with. That's going to bolster that that utility, which they've been putting to pretty good effect early on. Going to give them a lot to work with going forward, and it's also going to take the sting out of the next round if it doesn't go their way. So we're coming closer towards the time. Still 1 off. Nerf trying to find this last kill, but it's just mealing over the USB, so it doesn't really matter. He's a sacrificial lamb. Will if he's somehow found a frag there, that'd be great.
He survived a long time. I was surprised. I was like,
took advantage of the ledge.
Yeah, it's smart. I like the maneuvering. Here we go. An important round coming up here for both of these squads. I mean, Oceanic, they've done a good job at least keeping several players alive every single round that they've won. And with that last round with 4 players alive, that has pretty much stabilized their economy moving forward. LiviD, on the other hand, although they did have the 2 saved AUGs plus the AK-47 this time around, they're still kind of in the dumps. But they do have a lot to work with this time around, so that's at least a good start. Oh, the ramp explode is coming out now. Well, she's going to be leading the way with the CC, unable to get a kill, but a trade comes out. That's good, but now they look like they're upping up the ante, upping up the speed here towards the ramp and taking control of the backhauls.
This is good to see. It's a little bit of a change of pace for big frames. They were going very slow early on. Now they quicken the pace. But as I say that, they hit the brakes. T-Con is leading the way with the off. Gonna lose his life, but Church trades. Trade is instantly returned. No one has the bomb dropped in control room. Great positioning from Incred as well to just hold this, and he's got his preferred AWP. Dev coming into a risky situation. There's no chance he's getting past that crosshair. Quick op shot from Incred, and control is reasserted by LiviD. They're not giving up this lead, not anytime soon. And hitting the op shots, Incred's now going to be in great position moving forward. Look at the early performance from Mikhail as well. Already on 11. That man has massive. Died twice.
And he's already at double digits. I mean, he's almost double the score of the second player on his team. So that's a great start for the French-Canadian side. But yeah, that was an amazing round by Incred. I mean, 3K on the solo B defense, pretty much trading out his teammate and ensuring the round win. That's as best as you can ask from somebody. Now, Wynn's outside with the AUG. He spots 1 player. That's Welshi. It's out to 2 HP. That's going to make it really awkward now for the aggression, especially on the entry. Wynn, he's not done poking around outside. He wants to take a second duel. But eventually, I think he's just going to fall off that. No, he takes it and he wins it. That is nuts.
Playing Huynh on Nuke is a risky proposition. He's still alive. He's still going to be threatening around here. Church is trying to dig him out. They're using mollies. They're devoting a lot of utility to just digging him out of this one spot. It's a great pick to control the ramp to make sure that there's no chance of getting past. And now only 3 players up, one of whom's barely a whisper of a ghost. Welshi. This is going to be a tough situation. Welshi going to peek into the op, and Incred will hit the shot. It's like swatting a fly with a brick. On the quick flick, and now Church and Dev left wandering. Separated, completely isolated. They'll probably try and crunch on towards this A site as Dev works his way in towards heaven. But they've only got 40 seconds to work with, so they got to put on their sneakers and start to move.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, but this round's really just coming down to Dev here. He's the only healthy player on the squad. Church has 22 HP, so it really just comes down to whether Dev can make something happen out of the heaven flank right here. He's the first player. That's Melio. He has the first pick. That's great, but there's still another player to find. Millie, unable to capitalize off that, missing entirely, gets shut down, and there it is, a free A site.
That's massive quick kills from Dev. He might have an opportunity for a third as well. Close up with Mikhail, but he pulls out a nade at just the wrong moment. Now Mikhail going to be leading to charge in, finds Church as well. The low HP player just can't stand up to the spray. Defuse quickly corrects the mistake. There was an opportunity there for the big frames, but they just couldn't quite pry it open. LiviD still keeping it locked down. And again, that heroic performance from Mikhail. 3 kills in the round. He is really leading the way for his squad and setting the golden standard on the server right now. I mean, this performance, he's just not failing to deliver in any round.
Yeah, that looks shaky for a second, though, I have to admit.
It's a great recovery. Great recovery from LiviD. They gave up the double kill. They recover nicely. Early shots from Dev. He wants to get aggressive, wants to take the fight straight to them. Gonna be knocked back a little in turn, but Huynh is stuck out on an island and has to push forward, and push forward he will right into a hail of bullets. Now dropped and a man advantage gained. Big frames will be content to retract. They've gained that initial pick, and now they'll fall back. Leave a player around the red box just to threaten presence and reassess the situation. Meanwhile, LiviD, they retract in towards the sites. They're a turtle pulling back into their shell and getting ready for the onslaught from the big frames. 2 players in towards upper, a player holding ramp, and Mikhail the lone sentinel in the lower site. The question is, where does Big Frames want to take it? It looks like it's going to be a wrap in towards the upper site. The one player outside can sneak in from outside. And then the remaining 4 would theoretically hit from lobby. As I say that, though, they're probing towards the ramp room instead to completely undo what I was suggesting.
Yeah, I mean, if they walk into Incred's op, that could be dangerous, but he's gone pretty loud. I mean, I think they have an idea of where he is now on the ramp, so they're not going to be as scared. But Millie, he's in a really forward position, and he gets checked out by Welchie, and that's a great find as the pretty much lobby pressure is eliminated. Nice trades coming out. Incred only able to find 1 on the ramp defense, and he instantly gets traded out by T. Connors, and that's a man advantage now for Big Frames as they look to transition through the heavens on towards the A site.
Well, we've been saying he's been performing well. Now Mikhail has an opportunity to really shine. It's a 1v3 situation. He's completely out of position and picking up the op. I suspect this is just going to go ahead and be a save. Now walking back in towards lower. So almost certainly not going to go ahead and go for this. T. Connors looks like he's thinking about shooting his teammate in his head, but that's not going to happen. Mikhail just going to be trying to keep the big green gun alive for the moment. He's got a pretty full utility belt as well, so this is certainly worth it. 2K in the bank. Armor, kit, op. It's going to be another round for Big Frames, but they've been getting these isolated rounds, and if it's consistently isolated, if they can't really build past that 3 they got earlier, this could be tough.
Yeah, I think
I will come back up. Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, it's okay. I think what this round's going to be is Mikhail's going to drop the op, and Incred's probably just going to drop either 2 AUGs or 2 M4s over. And that's pretty much a fully kitted team. I mean, Mikhail can buy his own weapon, no problem. And I think it's been Millie or Melio. I can't remember which one because they both start with M. But one of them has been rocking the XM, which I imagine we will see come out here too. So this is going to be a really good buy for the French-Canadian side. And this is a timeout, so a smart one at that, as they can just start to discuss their plan of defense here, as they are working with kind of limited funds here. Yeah, just like I expected. 2 weapons coming out from Incred, although that limits him on the utility, but that's still high firepower. And Millie will take the MP9 instead.
It's a little bit of a new wrinkle. XM maybe not delivering. Time to change it up. And they spend enough time on the timeouts to get their creative and counting going. You know, it's tax season. Roy, it's tax season. Gotta consult your accountant before you make your big purchases.
Oh, yeah?
And it's gonna get, you know, had to get creative. First year really doing much contracting work. Taxes get more interesting.
No, we have people for that.
Not so nice anymore. Maybe you have people for that. I'm too broke to have people for that. I am my people.
You know, we love a independent man.
Something like that. Full bullshit for Oceanic for the first time in a while. They've got the utility. They're finally looking healthy. See what they can do with it. What they can put it to use. The op going to be the big wrinkle, I would say, for Incred, where he's going to go with it. He's been holding ramp quite a bit, hopping in towards lower, and that's exactly where he heads early on. Just the straight hop in towards the lower bomb site. Probably going to go back towards that secret peak. That will be indeed the move. And there is one player outer, so if he finds the timing here, might be able to catch Dev off and find himself a kill for free. It's very patient from the Big Frame side. They're expecting some sort of presence in towards the lobby. They're waiting to throw their smokes outer. They're just slowly taking control, wanting to make sure that they are not going to get caught off guard from any angle.
Yeah, I really like the setup right now from LiviD, although it is a bit passive, but it still covers pretty much all the entrances and angles here. When kind of hiding towards the big garage, Incred contesting lower once again with the AWP, likely to catch himself an early flag, and there it is. That's Dev. Easy find there. No casualties, no risk for LiviD. Now it's all down to Mikhail on the ramp defense. He either needs to survive or get 1 kill and get traded out. Either of those options is fine. Survival is probably better. There it is. The utility now will funnel them into the right angles for them, and it's going to make it just a bit more awkward.
He's been excellent at showing the right amount of patience and reserve. Sometimes you don't see that with players at this level where they get a little too excited and go in towards the frags. He's done a great job of falling back. Quinn with a big couple of shots as they try and take hell control and get completely denied. And Church will at least gain a little bit of space, but now in a 1v4, there's not much more opportunity, and he will be wiped off of the board. LiviD come right back into it, and I would say a lot of that comes to the patience that they're showing. They're doing a great job of this throughout the map, of not getting over aggressive, of taking what's available to them and then falling back. They're not getting greedy, they're not forcing the issue, and it's paying off big.
Yeah, this is great Counter-Strike. It's not perfect by any means, but I mean, this is a job well done, right? The idea is not to play perfect Counter-Strike. It's to play scenarios out well, and they're playing very well right now. Oceanic back down to the pistols, back down to a little bit of utility. And now they're all towards the lobby area with 1 flank, and the flank has been eliminated. That's Dev brought down. Now Oceanic is stuck behind utility, which is going to make this A hit very awkward for them as they are forced to come through if they want to go at this time.
That nade was nearly a chunker, went just a little bit too deep. Now they're in towards the A site. It's just so many guns look in their direction. They find one. Welshi at least gets an op, but not even a chance to really use it, because there were just too many rifle barrels pointed his way. And LiviD Gaming claimed the 8. Now they'll have one more buyout from Oceanic, from Big Frames, rather. One more buy. And then they should hopefully have depleted the reserve. Maybe we get into a force buy territory. Maybe they get themselves that nice eco round. It certainly hasn't been easy these last few rounds. But now we'll see who can get started here. Looks like it's just straight out squeaky door. They're right into sight, not hesitating at all, not showing any of that patience. It's just a massacre and a melee. And so far, they're overcoming. Emilio holds up for a moment, but at the tides of all these players, he cannot do so. The trades come out on top. It's just Incred with the omp. They have the money. He should certainly go for this. With low players, it's a possibility. T-Connor from On Fire takes the one tap to just silence him, knock him off of his perch, and get at least to 5 rounds here for the Big Frames.
Yeah, that's a nice shot by T-Connor. That was quick. I like that. 8-5 though. This is a pretty competitive half. I mean, as of right now, 5 rounds on the T side of Nuke is not bad, especially considering you've lost a pistol round and you weren't able to convert either of the first gun round. So I mean, 5 rounds for Big Frames. They're happy with that. If they can secure this round, it might be LiviD saving up once again. That should put them at the 7th round. So this is a big round coming up here for both of these squads, as the economy depends on it. It seems like Oceanic, aka Big Frames, are making their way quickly this time, once again towards the secret area. A bit of a different plan of attack, but it's quick nonetheless.
Nerf now leading the charge, gets tagged down. They're all trying to chase Incred. He's fading back, but he'll eventually get run down. There was no more room to hide. Those players perched outside the ramp. They're going to need to make inroads, and there's utility here from the Big Frames to lock them out. Still hesitating. It feels like Big Frames get to the precipice of pushing onto a site, and then they slow right down. It works for them sometimes, but more often than not, it's become a stumbling block. And now they're dumping what utility they have just to retake these angles. No real control, and they've got to get that bomb planted. T-Connors is trying to find a pick with the op, but it's just slowing them down a little bit too much. Bomb will finally transition to be planted behind the cooling tower, but by the time this happens, there's 4 players in position for the retake. They're ready for it. Welshi, though, finding the first kill, may convince the remaining 3 this isn't worth it. Emilio gets a trade, but they still have a player upper who's just now making his way down secret, so that is going to delay them substantially. Time is becoming short. There's little to work with, and the op of T-Connors is still a threat on site that they haven't quite realized, so the save is going to be called.
And that's a smart decision. I mean, you have to kind of cut your arm to save the body in this scenario. You, one, don't have any kits. You don't have the best of weapons for the retake. Mikhail on the and that's one of their kind of their star players at the moment in this game, at least. But yeah, this is a job well done by Oceanic. It seems like the fast pace is suiting them well. Millie trying to hold on to the AUG, unable to find a single kill. Oh, actually, he gets the help of the bomb right there. Gets 1 kill. But man, that AUG being lost hurts them horribly here. And there it is. Big Frames picking up the 6th round, possibly a 7th here, as the economy for LiviD is tipped in favor of Oceanic.
Hacking on this run of rounds at the end really just does change the complexion of the half. It looked like LiviD was in control for so long, and Big Frames say, but wait, there's more. We've still got some plans on our T side. They're working out beautifully. So now a very limited LiviD have to try and hold the fort for 1 more round before we get toward the swap. Welshi has the op, the only one on the server, and he's going to be trying to work it into a pick with that big gun advantage. This is a new look for Quinn, just with the SMG, going to be tucked into secret, playing a bit of an off angle. We haven't really seen this used by LiviD. They've been more playing down in the steps with an op to hit someone when they round the corner.
Right.
So maybe Big Frames overlook it and give them an opportunity.
Big Frames doing a good job so far, using their utility in the pretty common spots. Now, this is all just a setup for Welshi to take an aggressive duel. The flashbang is well placed. Win and Mikhail able to find Welshi, but a trade comes out. Perfect timing for Dev. Nice shot, too. And Dev's going to be looking for that another kill. And I think Oceanic knows that there are no ops available for LiviD. I think the only long-range potential for the CT side right now is just the AUG, and they're aware that it's there. So, 4 versus 4, 45 seconds left on the clock, although time isn't an issue yet. If they continue lingering around, it might be. But there it is. They're starting to fall back towards the lobby now. And leaving that player up close, I imagine this is going to be a split on towards the A site. And the bomb is making its way door. And I think we have ourselves an A split.
Onto the site we go. Millie's got a deagle right back by the bomb commander. He's going to have to hit the shots, and there's just no opportunity. Fortunately for him, his teammates do instead, and it's actually a great performance. Incred finds 2, Mikhail 2 as well, and they lock it down, so that last round does go the favor of LiviD. They recover at the last moment. We wind up with that 9-6 scoreline which I would say is pretty good for Nuke still on a T side. It's not bad by any measure.
Absolutely, especially if you lost
for their own strats.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. I mean, 9-6 is a pretty standard finish, especially considering Oceanic didn't pick up a single pistol, right? They lost the pistol, they lost the 2 rounds after that, including the 3rd gun round. So, hey, this is a pretty respectable half for both sides. Let's see how it comes out. There's a bit of pressure on this pistol round, though. It seems like LiviD is making their way pretty aggressively and lumped up together towards the ramp side.
Dev with the kit and dualies. Interesting. You love to see it. Nerf gonna hit the initial shot though, and now he just fades away. That's the fadeaway jumper, if you will. Finds the headshot, and he's losing teammates, but he's still finding bodies. That's 3 kills for Nerf and big frags in the round. The numbers have been a little bit equalized, but still LiviD at a disadvantage, and that bomb drop means it's gonna get awkward, especially as Dev, waiting on top of the hut, finds the perfect timing to catch off one, and Church shooting through his teammate's shoulder will find the last frag. Melio out, and a pistol round picked up by Big Frames, which is a great start to their own CT side. Have given up that first half pistol. Now they get back on track. They should be able to close this gap quickly and make this a very competitive game.
Oh, yeah, we definitely have a game on our hands now if we didn't before. See how this plays out, though. LiviD unable to get the bomb plant. Is they're going to just go with Glocks. Only P250 upgrade for Melio. And this is just going to be a desperate attempt. If they can go down, if they can flood out A, if they can flood down the ladder, maybe try to get a bomb plant, that'd be amazing. But all things considered, this should be Oceanic coming out with a win right here. Let's see if they can make it cheap. I mean, they can't lose many players here, especially against Glocks, no armor.
Single flash to work with. One flash. They concentrate up. They take one angle. Wins up top. Maybe he flashes them in towards A. That looks to be the move, but we'll see how much success they have. Dev's already starting to pick them apart, and he's the kind of player who's just going to push when he senses weakness. He's hungry for these frags. Church from on high grabs a few. So that's going to soften them up for Dev to finish them. And they're just getting knocked away. Swapping the gun. Maybe not the best move in the moment, but Quinn not going to get a lot more room to rumble. So he's dropped, and it is going to be a pretty safe round for the Big Frames coming through. Interesting that they dropped a scout for another SMG. That's odd to me.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I definitely agree with
Especially
that.
on Nuke.
Especially considering the scouts are more expensive.
Yeah, that's... Maybe you thought he was picking up the XM?
Yeah, but maybe that's something in mind. Let's see where the SMGs are placed right now for the Oceanic side. Now, for this, the firepower here does favor LiviD, but this is what people would consider a bonus round for Oceanic. They're not really investing too heavily. The 2 players that died, yeah, they're going to buy up M4s, of course. They're not going to buy up SMGs any longer. But it seems like a passive hold for the CT side. They're not really looking to contest anything. They're just waiting for LiviD to make the play here.
Nerf now pushed up back behind a smoke, might gain a little bit of ground. Certainly going to be the early warning system over towards ramp, and he actually looks like he wants to get aggressive. Considering they have the SMGs, it's not a terrible idea. Close the distance, bleed off time. There's a ton of utility actually to work with here for LiviD, and they're doing a good job of holding on to that. You saw sometimes in the first half, Big Frames would throw out utility and not really act off the back of it. LiviD are going to hold it all towards the last moment so they can throw it and hit decisively. That's exactly what they're trying to do. They were waiting for that lobby push, and it's not going to come, so now you'll see the utility come out. You'll see them start to use it to eliminate possible angles and move on. Late smoke towards the outer area to buy a little bit of space, but it won't really matter as they've already pushed up past it. Well, she's tucked in. I don't think they know he's here, so Quinn has to be careful and must check this corner. He takes the shot, not going to check it at all. That's an easy kill for Welshie. Now that takes one of the wrinkles out of the assault. Now there's players bunched up towards lobby with 0 map control anywhere else. They kind of just have to go for this with 25 seconds, and they're running into the blender. They've just got to battle their way out. They'll find the first, but Church running a train with the SMG, going to find 2. No more. Now a 2v2 situation moving into the post plant, but nerfed on high means there's no chance to get that plant. And it's all left to Mikhail, who has to put a new clip into his gun and get run down immediately by Welshie. 9-9, tied up. LiviD limp in the second half so far.
Yeah, that was a massive drop off here for LiviD. I mean, they really pressed the time, especially against the MP9s. They had no map control, and they must have known that there was at least 2 MP9s available from the round before. So I'm surprised this was such a late A hit and such a slow pace on top of that. But there it is, 9-9. Oceanic, they've done it. They've tied things up, even though the last round of the last half should have been theirs to begin with. So this should have been a lead for Oceanic, but we find ourselves at a tie, and LiviD is now on a save. So Oceanic, once again, in favor to finally find the lead in this match.
spots here, trying to close distance outer, but there's 2 guns looking their way, and I don't know if they were expecting the babysit. That's actually the collateral shot from Welshi. Finds 2 and then a 3rd for the price of 2 bullets. So great play from the op to make sure there was no risk, and a completely clean round for Big Frames to just quickly get that eco over with. LiviD, they'll have guns up now, but they're in a risky situation. They've already given up the lead. They've got to reassert themselves now. Otherwise, it's going to be Big Frames who start to run away with it just based on that momentum and confidence building.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the money already for Oceanic, right? They're already at 5,000, 6,000 for Welshi, the opera of the squad. So, I mean, they're pretty comfortable on the CT side this early in the half. So, this is an important round for LiviD. If it's not a win, it has to at least be an expensive round. They have to at least get 3-4 kills here. They can't lose this round with any less than that. A round win obviously would be the most ideal, but there it is. Now the late smoke's coming out from LiviD as they look to gain control of the outside and deny information. But a nice little chunky, that was a grenade, right?
Yeah, that was a chunky nade. 70 damage nade.
Hey, did he?
And then he follows it up with the op shot as well.
I think that was a random shot through a smoke.
No, he spotted the foot just on the corner of it. There was a tiny gap, and he was looking for exactly that. It was given to him, and he found it. Set it up, executed perfectly. So well done by Welshi to just assert himself outer. You see, they don't want anything to do with outer yard at this point. They know the op's there. They had their own opera knocked down so low, so they're just going to completely abandon that. And that was clearly an initial part of the play. So now we see how LiviD react. They're going to be moving in towards the upper site instead. Utility sailing in, flashes to make it uncomfortable. But with a player up in heaven, this should be good. That's the bomb spotted as well, so the full rotation can come in. Dev's hesitating, but that just sets up T Connors for the quick frags. And now it's all just on Incred. Who's low from the beginning, has 1 flash to work with and an AWP with so many targets to find. He's trying to trace the hand, and there's just too many to deal with. Distracted focus means he gets wiped out for no investment. And Big Frames, they're doing a great job, not just of winning these rounds, but winning them dominantly. They're not dropping bodies at all.
Yeah, I know. 4 players alive on a gun round. That's pretty insane. I mean, this is a great start for Oceanic on both of these rounds. These last 2 rounds were they able to find the early frag. Plus significant damage onto Incredible, which made it kind of awkward for him to try to aggress. Outside smokes once again for LiviD, but they haven't really been able to do much with these outside smokes. Let's see if they're able to kind of up the speed here a little bit. Counter Molotovs coming out from Welshi. That shit is going to do so much damage. Oh, they're just getting, look at their health, just absolutely melted from all directions. But they're transitioning quickly towards Secret. And if they can get onto towards the B site before Oceanic, that might be their key. But I think Nerf's already here. Ooh. Almost converting.
Great mow down from Nerf. Gets caught by the 3rd, but he still did significant damage. And now the op is going to be here. Plenty of teammates as well to make sure there's no possibility of them getting really anything more. It's just Twin, who's the rat in the vents, but they're going to be trying to dig him out in just a moment. Tech9 and Armor to work with, and somebody overlooking his position means that Quinn can strike, but there's only going to be 1 available to him. The man is dropped immediately afterwards. 12-9. Again, just Oceanic. They're holding strong. They're a wall, and the waves of LiviD are cracking against them.
Yeah, you could say that. I think Oceanic is just getting, Big Frames are just getting bigger right now.
That pre-workout kicked in.
Yeah, it's a little bit slow. They need a faster mechanism of action, that's for sure. But hey, better late than never. 12-9 lead. So far, so good. LiviD once again back on the buy, and this time it seems like Welshi's setting up for a kind of a counter grenade here. Let's see if it works out. And boom, 2 for 2. Oh, it's just a nade stack. I like that.
Not as chunky this time. They didn't take him down to 70, but it definitely is a nice idea, and it means that he's never going to feel comfortable taking that silo peek. It just puts the doubt in his mind every time he goes to take that angle, where it's like, am I going to get naded to oblivion? Probably.
Gotta love conditioning. But yeah, they have Melio up. They have Melio really pushed up in Secret right here, and it seems like they are intending on splitting through the ramp towards the B site. As long as Melio doesn't fall here, if they lose this important piece, if Nerf finds this kill, that kind of takes that card out of the play and makes this a lot more awkward. But oh, Melio. The timing of that is crazy. Wow. And now Nerf has the same exact position. No way Melio expect that. There's
like ships in the night, and Nerf realizes what's happening. Sets it up perfectly. That's a big pick, though. Finds them a little bit of an inroad in towards upper. Maybe they can find space now to work with, and they are going to be acting off the back of it just straight into sight. Well, she's still here with the off, and as they're on below, it's T Connors on site with Dev playing Overwatch, and they set up the Wombo combo 2 each to make sure there's just no possibility for LiviD. This just keeps happening. It feels like they get one single pick, and it's like, okay, here's our opportunity. We're going to hit sight, and then just blinked on entry.
Right, yeah. It seems like they get that one pick and they're instantly resorting back to the let's just group up and hit something, right? But that's not always the right play. But I think them losing Melio there in secret kind of limited their options, and they might have just overthought themselves into oblivion. But there it is. Well, she once again blocked off by a wall of smoke, looking to do some early damage. Counter utility coming out. Seems to be the same story in the first few seconds of every single one of these rounds. A bit of damage onto Mikhail, the Mac 10er of the squad, looking to entry frag towards Secret, but this time LiviD is upping the speed. They're going quickly towards Secret, and I think it's Nerf that usually rotates down here, and it's going to be him once again. Win finds the opening frag. That actually might change things, but it seems like they are committing to the Secret hit.
Nerf finds one. They're going to try and chase him down. Does some more damage, but not ultimately the kill. Fortunately, his teammates have done some damage elsewhere. And well, she just comes in with the off. The blunt instrument knocking players off of their shoulders. There's only Millie remaining.
Wow.
And he will find one more. So now 2 kills already in this 1v3. Just Church left to work with. That bomb is retrievable. He doesn't necessarily know it yet. And there's the face. Millie plays it to perfection, finds the kill, and finally a round for LiviD on their T side off the back of a heroic 3K.
Well, if you want somebody to go massive in a round, that's the round to do it on. That has finally put a dent in the economy of Oceanic. That was a great round to find a 1 versus 3 of all things to close out. Probably, I think the only round they've gone so far on the T side, excuse me. This is a rough start. I mean, you can't rely on these 1v3s. That's a one in one game, right? You don't get those very often. You have to start tightening up on these rounds. LiviD right now looking a bit rough on the T side, but see how it plays out. Incredible. Looking for that early frag. Not finding much this time around. Gonna try his luck towards ramp, and that's nerfed.
Nerf's been pretty solid. It hasn't really been the flare play, if you will, but he usually gets one in about half of the next in the information. And that's all you really need to do. It's kind of a critical position. He's got the utility as well to just slow them down. That's exactly what's going to happen. So, knowing the situation, Quinn's trying to snake through and make a hero play, and that spam from Nerf just finds the timing to find an easy frag. Gifted for free. Now pepper damage going through the smokes in towards Secret.
Ooh,
but Incred gets
boost.
boosted up, and he finds the answer. That's T-Connor's drop. That's a big wrinkle out. Now they make their way in towards the lower bomb site. This required a heroic play in the last round. Now they might need to find another, but Mikhail finds the opener and an upgrade in weaponry. So an advantage finally for LiviD. What can they do with it? There's everyone here for the CTs to defend. Everyone getting in towards position, and they still need to transition the bomb to be planted. 35 seconds and a player dropped outside of the vents. Dev is now on the scene. That bomb going down, but the timing should be here, and Mikhail dropped the bomb out as well. What do they have to work with now? It's just the op of Incred, who's all alone. Flash is blooming, looking every which direction, doesn't know which way they're going to hit, and only 15 seconds. He's just got to go for this plant to decide he's gone. Looks like he's going to be facing for the first frag, just trying to find something to work with, and rounding the corner. Church just has enough of an off angle to win out the duel and claim another round. The reset comes through, though it's not as bitter anymore, folks, with the new economy. But Oceanic are now 2 rounds away from claiming their first map of the Winners League.
Yeah, this is LiviD's here is in an awkward state. I think they're gonna go ahead and forfeit this round. They're just gonna go with Glocks. Oh wait, no, they decided at the last second they want to buy up. Okay, I don't hate this. I don't hate this. I mean, you can't really forfeit the 15th round, especially if you're 5 rounds behind already, or 4 rounds, I should say. But either way, this is a smart decision by LiviD. They just need to make something work, and they haven't really been able to kind of convert these rounds, even with early frags. So something's got to give here. They have to find a different way. They haven't really attempted the splits on towards the A side through Heaven. They haven't really transitioned off outside control very well either. So these are big points here for LiviD, and probably key things to work on if they want to come out on top. But here we go. Spam's coming out from both teams. Bit of chip damage. Incredible down to 76. Nothing crazy. I'm surprised they have Melio with the ump of all weapons holding the outside control. That's...
It's odd. It doesn't seem like they have a lot of flexibility in their setups, right? It just feels like once that initial idea is gone, they take a little while to figure out what's next. There's not as much depth of the stratagems as there was in the first half. So we're going to see what they can do if they can just win it based on that aim.
Right.
The SMG is definitely a limiter, especially if they try and take this outer, as you said. The smokes are down, at least to condense the distance, but there's already a player forward around the red box. That volley is going to be good. It'll be the spray that actually finds the kill, and a second player dropped from the off. They've snuck one in towards Secret, but Quinn, interestingly, doesn't want to go down. He wants to stick around and see if he can find somebody on the chase, but nobody's really going to give him the opportunity. The remaining 2 players now coming out of the busted squeaky door. So there's a little bit of a crunch in from Outer, but Church should be able to drop Win and take that wrinkle out of the play. There's now no real versatility, and blinded up, they're easy pickings. It's all just Incred will be mopped up instantly to find map point for the big frames. They are strong. Those biceps are looking crispy here in the second half, and having only dropped 1 round of the second half, they are now set to close this out.
You have to say, this is a very sloppy half by LiviD, no doubt. It seems like their structure is kind of unflexible, especially towards how they transition with outside control, or even how they attempt to convert rounds with man advantages. But a timeout, they're not out of this just yet, but the scales are definitely heavily favoring Oceanic right now. I mean, they have a lot of money. They have full utility in this round. They have AK-47s, they have AUGs, they have an AWP for Welshi, all 5 kits. I mean, LiviD, the most they can get out of this one is 2 AKs, 3 AKs if somebody goes light armor and downgrades, which pretty much leaves them with no utility to do any form of outside control. So once again, they'll be funneled into the either let's go ramp or let's just hit A. And neither of those has really been working for them. Tough.
This is an interesting decision as well. 2 SMGs picked up. That's going to be on Quinn and Incred. 2 players who have actually been doing fairly well for them on their T side, all things considered. So it is going to be 3 Galils, no AKs whatsoever. So any of those long-range duels are going to be a challenge, to be sure. I mean, even beyond what you'd normally see. But at least they've got a little bit of smokes to work with. Considering one of their go-tos is the smokes outer, it seems like they kind of have to have that utility to have any hope here. It's going to be the counter nades out. Not really doing the damage they were hoping for. But a player already dropped in towards vent might give them something to work with here. Now the smoke's down outer. They're going to be making their way down secret. A little bit of tag damage, nothing to really worry about. It is just going to be the straight lower hit, it seems. And Cred has at least secured the opener. Laid out the welcome mat, if you will. But Welshi's here with an op, and Welshi's hitting shots. This man has not been cowed the entire second half. He'll eventually get run down, but he's done enough damage and stalled them up enough for that rotation to come through and for players to be ready for this hit. Minute 15 on the clock, and now LiviD slow down.
I mean, are they expecting Nerf to be in this angle on top of that, right? Now Nerf with that smoke is really going to make this awkward for them. As obviously they have their crossers on that ramp, and now the rotations for Oceanic are all here. I mean, they have so many players that can instantly flood from the ramp side. And it seems like kind of the secret and the upper and the outside has been pretty much forfeited by Oceanic. They've given that up. Now LiviD kind of need to figure out what exactly is happening in this round, and they seem to be doing just that, just taking their time. They don't need to full commit towards the B site, and soon Oceanic will have no choice but to kind of rethink their defense setup. They can't hold this setup forever. Nerf squeezing out a kill onto Melio. That's an amazing find. It weakens the B attack now. 35 seconds left on the clock does not leave him with much time, Mike. They need to... Oh my god, I'm dying.
They need to make moves. They've got no utility left either. I mean, they've got a little bit on Cred, but the longer they let this go, the more they bleed of their own arsenal. They're just going to get picked apart. It's death by 1,000 cuts as Nerf now finds another. They have to retake control room so many times. Now, finally, he gets dealt with, but he's taken so much health off the remainers that Millie's easy pickings. It's just Twin who's got an op and has to go for it. 10 seconds, 3 kills to find. They can just wait him out. He can't even get the bomb and get the plant down, and T. Connors won't even be that patient. He'll just go straight, take the frag, and claim this 16-10. It looked like we were going to have a close game in the first half, but then Big Frames just come out on CT and body the competition.
I mean, look, they were warming up in the first little bit, and then they started pumping the sets, man. They started pumping the sets. Maximum weight. Let's go. I can do it all day, baby. But no, for all jokes aside, I mean, that one amazing half by Big Frames. They played that to absolute perfection on the defense. They have the contact points. The communication was there. Their setups were pretty much well discussed. And pretty much everything was there. I mean, LiviD, on the other hand, I kind of have to criticize them a little bit, right? They looked a little bit unflexible on the T side, not really able to convert any of their... I mean, how many rounds did they have man advantages and they just weren't able to convert those rounds?
It was a situation where they didn't have too many strats, right? And those few that they did, they didn't look comfortable enough in to really be able to execute properly or to find the timing on. So maybe just a question of a lack of familiarity on that T side. But Nuke is one of those maps that is just brutally unforgiving if you aren't prepared for it. It's not like a Mirage or a Cache where you can kind of feel it out even if you don't have the strats. If you're not ready for Nuke, Nuke is going to destroy you on that T side. And I think that's a lot of what we just saw there from LiviD.
Absolutely, yeah, I 100% agree with that. But that does conclude our first map. Thank you guys for that. But guys, please, by the way, follow our socials. That includes Twitter, that includes Facebook, as well as our Twitch channel. We could use all your support, of course. We are all in this together. So please join us, follow our socials so you can stay up to date with everything happening, not only in Winners League, but Win.GG, our content part of the Winners League. But yeah, we're signing out for the first map. The second map should be going live relatively soon. We'll show you guys a quick show of the schedule to show you guys the remaining matches of to date. We still have 2 more, by the way, if you're wondering. And I believe the second map coming up is a Low-Key Esports versus Team Hyper, if I have that correctly in my mind.
Sounds right to me.
Yeah. But so yeah, we'll be right back, guys. Stay tuned and the action will resume before you even know it.